You are listening to Pharmacy, IT, and Me, your informatics pharmacist podcast. Welcome to another episode of Pharmacy, IT, and Me, and as with every episode, we start off this one stating that the intended audience is everybody. So today, for a change of pace in our interviews, we'll be speaking with two current pharmacy students, Chuck Hennes and Hunter Whitworth, on their perspectives as students and pharmacy informatics. So I also connected with Chuck and Hunter through a colleague of mine, Dr. Baiju Shah, and we'll also be talking about their experience at the recent HIMSS 19 conference. So thank you so much again for taking some time out to be on the podcast, Chuck and Hunter. How are you guys doing?
We're doing well. Thank you so much for calling in.
Yeah, doing well. Appreciate it, Tony.
Yeah, of course. So can you tell the listeners a little bit more about yourselves?
Yeah, so I'm a P3 here at the University of South Carolina College of Pharmacy. I'm currently doing a dual degree program with a Master's of Health Information Technology, originally from Seneca, South Carolina, which is kind of like right near Clemson. And I'm pretty excited to be on this podcast.
Yeah, and Sam, and my name's Hunter. I'm doing the same dual degree program at the University of South Carolina with the PharmD-MHITs as Chuck is. I'm also from the upstate, about a town 15 minutes away from Greenville, South Carolina. So excited to be here.
Awesome. So this dual degree program, the part that you're doing the Master's in Health IT, can you expand a little bit about, I guess, what are the objectives of that degree program, or what happens in terms of what you're learning and things like that?
Yeah, so it's a pretty unique program that our school offers through another college at USC. Basically, what it's meant to do is kind of get you or give a understanding of health information technology as a whole. So far, it's mostly online classes. There are some that you can take in person, but it kind of gives you a perspective on the history of healthcare IT and kind of what's been going on out there, new trending topics. The core classes are geared to give you that fundamental understanding of how databases work, how electronic health records are set up, and just kind of familiarize yourself with the terminology to be able to connect clinicians and IT staff and kind of be that intermediary, I guess would be the word, between the two. And then you can kind of pick electives that gear you more IT focused or more healthcare administration focused. For example, one of the core classes that we're taking right now is health economics. So it kind of gives us a financial understanding of how healthcare IT has impacted the healthcare industry.
And I think another thing it does well too is that it's open to a lot of different backgrounds and types of students or career fields that also take it at the same time. So as coming from the PharmD dual degree background and having my classmates be nurses, IT people themselves, you get to see kind of how it really is in the career field itself, where you're not just working with the same kinds of people all day in the healthcare IT setting. So it kind of brings you together with a lot of different other aspects of healthcare.
So when you guys applied for pharmacy school and, you got into your current school right now, did you know that you wanted to do this yet? Or was it something that you kind of saw a little bit later on that you kind of reapplied for a dual degree?
No, not necessarily. So during our P1 orientation, we found out about the dual degree programs. For me personally, going into it, I didn't understand much about pharmacy. I only thought there was the retail setting or hospital setting, which is kind of what a lot of people think whenever they get first into school, until you luckily our school explains a lot of these different career opportunities and you can kind of guide your own path within that. We really did, or for me personally, I really didn't get into it until about my my P2 year. I went to a digital health and entrepreneurial conference in Greenville, South Carolina, and that kind of really sparked my interest in everything. And then listened to another fellow student who was currently doing the MHIT program, and hearing his thoughts on it kind of really got me sparked up and ready to go for the MHIT program.
Kind of similar, but not really. I definitely had no idea that I intended on doing it until I got into pharmacy school. I think part of the curriculum is just so clinical based because that's the foundation of the career itself. But I think I just kind of saw that in a lot of different other routes of pharmacy that I didn't know existed. And I thought this was kind of a cool one to branch off into, is the technology side mixing with healthcare. It's just something new. And it's something that's always going to be changing and really blowing up in the future. And I think I just wanted to be a part of that rather than the more clinical aspect side of pharmacy. So I applied for it and now I'm here.
Awesome. So from what I heard from Dr. Baiju Shah, you guys actually had the opportunity to attend the recent HIMSS 19 conference. So what did you guys both think about it?
Yeah, it was really great. I actually got to be more of a close role to it. I was accepted as a program assistant and got to work in what they call the interoperability showcase, And that's really cool because you get to see a bunch of these companies working together and showing their use cases and how they demonstrate interoperability with their own products and company lines. And then other than that, just what I thought was really neat about it was just how like big it was. There was just, it offered so much, and you couldn't be bored, or you couldn't not get enough of something. It had so many education sessions and different booths set up from so many different technology companies that it was really cool to see.
Yeah, it was definitely a massive meeting. As far as conferences go, this is probably the biggest one I've ever been to. And normally I go to like APHA or like ASHP's like national meeting, but this dwarfed it definitely. I've never seen the Orange County Convention Center actually almost full. Place is pretty big. But yeah, HIMSS 19 was a fantastic experience. I went just as a student, kind of going to different sessions and then going through the showcases and meeting up with people that I work with and various organizations that are related to healthcare information technology. So it was good to see all these thought leaders actually in person instead of just reading articles by them or talking to them through video conferences, like to work on various projects, but actually getting to meet some of these people in person was pretty enlightening, to say the least.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So if you guys had to say, like, what's your most memorable thing that you experienced at HIMSS 19, like, what would it be?
I don't know. Honestly, probably, like we said, just taking in how much opportunity it offered. I can't really think of just one thing in particular, but probably just going around and getting to see all these companies that you normally wouldn't even get to see in a regular setting, and just kind of see what they actually do, and having those close encounters and just meeting all types of different people in the healthcare technology industry. That was probably just my biggest takeaway was how many people you can really meet.
Yeah, absolutely. To elaborate kind of on what Hunter said, just the fact that you can meet all these various people. And as a student, you get a really, really unique in with just pretty much whoever's talking, because as far as pharmacy students go, there's not many pharmacy students that attend HIMSS. So it's you're kind of like a unique egg in that sense that you can just kind of go up and start talking to people, and they're kind of more interested in your background of like why you're there, because it is a big technology conference. So it's really tech heavy. But as like a young like pharmacy student, it's really easy to go up and talk to people, and people are genuinely interested in talking back to you. So just being able to, like I said, meet all these like really influential people and just people that are on the cutting edge of developing new technologies or expanding current technologies and adapting it is just amazing. Great experience.
Wow, that's really cool. So you were talking about how you see everything's like changing and everything's new and stuff like that. So in terms of like the pharmacy profession, where do you guys kind of see the pharmacy profession going in terms of, informatics and technology? And then also for you, both of you are students right now, but when you become like a pharmacist, when you have your pharmacy degree, do you have like a specific area you're thinking of getting into? Because, not all informatics pharmacists are the same.
Yeah. So as far as what I'm trying to get into, so I'm trying to pursue a fellowship in industry and use that MHIT background to kind of essentially like if I'm lucky enough to get like a 2-year fellowship within a company, and then kind of develop my own job position working on various use case products. So for example, currently I'm working on a blockchain project through our university, and what I'm diving into right now is like trying to figure out what to use for global supply chain management of, say, like for the pharmaceutical industry is like a big example of being able to use this kind of new technology. But it's the fact of being able to see these new technologies out there and adapt it to the world of pharmacy would be a really unique, I guess, niche to fill. So there's all kinds of wide opportunities out there, and you really can make whatever you want out of it. And that's what I love about this degree. It's not a limiting degree. You get as much out of it as you put into it. So whatever you want to do, you can use that fundamental understanding to further your own research studies. So it's pretty interesting and very, very fun, to say the least.
Yeah, I guess in terms of how you're asking about where I see pharmacy, how it ties in with HIT and that whole aspect, probably more so in the development of still the sharing of patient information and like open EHRs between primary care providers. I kind of see that being a blooming field for pharmacy in particular with healthcare technology. But I guess me myself, I don't actually have a definite answer. Probably try and get something with a fellowship just to further my knowledge of the industry field and get a better hold on it. But I don't know really where I'd like to see myself end up. I think I'm still kind of learning everything that's out there this degree offers.
Awesome. Yeah, and you will still have a bit of time before you could make a decision on what exactly you want to do. So yeah, thank you again for answering the questions. Thank you again for being part of this interview. Is there anything you'd like to add before we end the episode?
Yeah, as far as other students out there that are interested in this kind of field, like I said, it's kind of what you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. If you can find, or if your school is lucky enough to have an opportunity like this, definitely pursue it. The financial burden, at least at our school, is not that much extra. So it's like kind of like one of those once in a lifetime opportunities that you can get a great degree that'll set you up to open up many other doors. And just don't be scared to not take it. Not saying say yes to everything, but if you're really interested in it, put a lot of effort into it and you'll get great results out of it. Like, I'm still shocked of like the amount of people that I've been able to meet through this degree and being able to places I've been able to go, people I've been able to talk to, and just all the great experiences that kind of change your perspective on what's traditionally out there. And like I said, you can just make whatever you want out of it.
Okay, to be respectful of your time, I'd like to thank you again for taking some time out of your busy day to be on the show.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Absolutely appreciate it.
All right. If you guys like this episode, you guys can subscribe and rate us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or any of your other favorite podcasting services. And you can follow us on social media at PharmC-ITME on Twitter and Facebook, or PharmC Informatics on Instagram, or email us at pharmcitme@gmail.com. You can also follow my personal Twitter account at Tony.PharmD. And thank you again for listening. And I'll see you on the next episode of PharmC-IT and Me. And remember, technology is a tool, patient care is the goal.